In this video, we're going to look at multiplying and dividing with algebraic fractions. And first of all, we're going to remind ourselves how to multiply with normal fractions. So if we had the fraction 2/3 times by 9/10, then we're going to want to multiply across the numerators and across the denominators. But before we do that, we can cross cancel. So the 2 can cancel with the 10 in the other fraction, leaving us with 1 and 5, and the 3 and the 9 can cancel, leaving us with 1 and 3. This gives us a final answer of 1 times 3 on the top and 1 times 5 on the bottom, which just simply gives us 3/5. Now for multiplying algebraic fractions, we do exactly the same. We look to cancel diagonally, and then we multiply the numerators and multiply the denominators. So let's have a look at some examples. So 4x over 5 times 15y over 16. So for this one, there are several things we can cancel. First of all, we can cancel out the 4 with the 16, leaving us with 1 where the 4 was and 4 where the 16 was. Secondly, we can cancel out the 5 with the 15, leaving 1 and 3 as the cancelled bits. And then when we multiply, we have x times 3y and 1 times by 4, which gives us a final answer of 3xy over 4. Now we have 8x over y squared times 3y over 20x squared. In this one again, there are several things that we can cancel out. First of all, we're going to do the 8 on the top of the first fraction with the 20 on the bottom of the second fraction. Now the 8 is going to leave us with 2 when we divide it by 4, and the 20 is going to leave us with 5 when we divide it by 4. Next, we're going to do the x on the top of the first fraction, which is going to cancel with one of the x's on the bottom. So we're just going to cross out the squared and leave that other x on the bottom. And finally, we have a y on the top of the second, which is going to cancel with one of the y's on the bottom of the first. Again, we cross out the squared, leaving a y. This gives us 2 times 3 on the top, and on the bottom we have y times 5x, which gives us a final answer of 6 over 5xy. Now in this example there are lots of things that cancel. First of all, we're going to cancel the 12 on the top with the 6 on the bottom, which leaves us with 1 and 2 on the top. We're going to work our way across the top here. So next we're going to cancel the a on the top there with one of the a's on the bottom, so we're going to cross out the squared. Now we're going to cancel that b with one of the b's on the bottom of the second one, so we're going to cross out that squared. Now we've got the 5, which cancels with the 25, leaving 1 on the top and 5 on the bottom. Now we're going to do the c. There's a c squared on top and a c on the bottom. So the c on the bottom cancels with one of the c's on the top. And finally, we've got a d on the top, but there are no d's on the bottom, so that's going to stay as it is. Putting all that together, we have 2 on the top of the first one times by 1cd, and on the bottom we have 5a times 1b. That gives us a final answer of 2cd over 5ab. And now for the final example on multiplying before we look at dividing. Once again, we're going to work through the numbers one at a time. So first of all, we've got 48 cancels with the 2 to give us 1 on the bottom and 24 on the top. Now we're going to do the A's. We've got A cubed on the top and an A on the bottom. So that cancels the A cubed into an A squared. We have a B on the top, but there are no B's on the bottom, so that doesn't cancel. We have a 3 on the top, and that's going to cancel with the 18 to leave 1 on the top and 6 on the bottom. We have a C on the bottom and a C squared on the top, so that squared is going to disappear, so we're left with just 1C. And we have a D on the top and a D cubed on the bottom, so that becomes D squared. There's one more thing we can do, and that is notice that there is now a 6 and a 24, so the 6 and the 24 can cancel, leaving us with 1 on the bottom and 4 on the top. Putting this all together, we have 4a squared b times by c all over 1 times by 1d squared, giving us a final answer of 4a squared b c over d squared. Now let's have a look at dividing. And again, dividing works in the same way as with numeric fractions. So let's remind ourselves of how we work with a numeric fraction. We have something like 3/4 divided by 15 over 16. And what we do is we copy the first one, which is 3/4. We change the sign from a divide to a times. We flip the second one, so we get 16 over 15. Now we can do the multiplication and any cancelling. So first of all, we're going to look at the cancelling. We can cancel the 3 with the 15, which gives us 1 and 5, and we can cancel the 4 with the 16, which leaves us with 1 and 4, and that gives us a final answer of 1 times 4 on the top, which is 4, and 1 times 5 on the bottom, which is 5. So we're going to do exactly the same with the algebraic fractions. So for this example, the first thing we're going to do is write it out as 11 over 9x squared y, copying that one, changing the sign to multiplication, and then flipping to get 15x over 77y. Now we can start cancelling things, and the 11 cancels with the 77 to give us 1 on the top and 7 on the bottom. The 9 and the 15, 3 goes into both of those, so the 9 becomes 3, the 15 becomes 5, and the x on the top cancels with one of the x's on the bottom, so we get left with just a single x. Putting that all together, we get 5 on the top, and then 3x y times 7y, which is 5 over 21 xy squared. And the final example in this video, there's lots of things going on here. So it's a division, so the first thing we need to do is copy the first fraction, 15abc over 7a cubed bc squared, change the sign, and then flip the second one to get 21 abc all squared over 15 a cubed bc squared. We're now going to want to multiply out that abc squared that appears in the second fraction, and that simply gives us 15abc over 7 a cubed bc squared times 21 a squared b squared c squared over 15 a cubed bc squared. And now we can start cancelling. We have a 15 on the top and a 15 on the bottom, so they cancel out directly. On the top we have 1a and then another 2a's, so that's 3a's in total, so they can cancel out with this a cubed here. We have on the top 1b and a b squared, so that's 3b's, and on the bottom we have 2b's, so we're going to cancel that out with that b squared there. And then c's, on the top we have a c and a c squared, so 3c's. On the bottom we have 4c's, so we're going to cancel out those 3c's on the top with one of the c squareds and the squared of the other one, leaving us with just c. And finally the 7 and the 21 also cancel down, and that's going to give us a final answer of b times by 3 on the top over c times by a cubed on the bottom, which gives us 3b over a cubed c as our final answer. So that's how we multiply and divide algebraic fractions. We do it exactly the same way as with numeric fractions. Multiply numerators and multiply denominators, and for division, copy the first fraction, change the divide sign to a multiply sign, and flip the second fraction before multiplying in the normal way.